An issue important to the Texas Tech campus is currently being voted on throughout the state. Coming up, we'll have the details on the Proposition 5 on the November ballot.
The countdown to the start of Halloween is less than a day away, and many Red Raiders are getting ready for Fright Night. Find out how one department held an annual eerie event that used the power of music to help attendees get into the spooky spirit.
And the postseason for the Red Raiders soccer team is officially underway, with the team competing in their first game of the 2023 Big 12 tournament. MCTV's Nathan Boles will have the latest scores and highlights from soccer and more in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to Monday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Gianelli Garcia.
And I'm Epiphany Scott. Early voting is underway here in Texas for the November ballot this year. The ballot only contains propositions from the last legislative session.
But one of those propositions could have a huge impact on the future of Texas Tech University. On this year's ballot, Proposition 5 gives voters a chance to decide on a constitutional amendment relating the Texas University Fund, or TUF Fund. The fund would provide money to several universities here in Texas to increase research efforts to help drive the state economy. One of the universities included in the amendment is Texas Tech. If the proposition is approved, it is projected that the Texas Tech would receive approximately $45 million each year from the TUF Fund. The university has already laid out a list of priorities that the money would be used for, including health, energy, agriculture, climate, and national security research. The distribution of the funding would begin next year and continue into the future throughout permanent endowment. The new Texas University Fund would be established by combining the current National Research University Fund with money from the state's Rainy Day Fund. The result would be a $3.9 billion endowment. Texas Tech, along with the University of Houston, North Texas, and Texas State, would all receive money annual from the new PUF Fund. Proposition 5 is included on all ballots in the state of Texas. Early voting is currently underway until this Friday, and Election Day is next Tuesday, November 7th. If you are registered to vote in the state but not sure how to cast your ballot, you can visit votetexas.org for more information.
In other news, the spookiest day of the year is only one day away. Many students are getting into the Halloween spirit through a series of events taking place both on and off campus. Yesterday afternoon, the School of Music University Symphony Orchestra hosted the annual concert in the Sub Allen Theater. The yearly holiday-themed event started with an instruments petting zoo and kids' costume concerts at 2 p.m., followed by a string project performance at 3:15. Then at 4 p.m., the USO took the stage in their Halloween best and performed several creepy compositions of music perfect for a holiday. The USO was later joined by members of Hutcherson Middle School's orchestra and Lubbock High School's mariachi band to finish out the performance. Yesterday's concert was aimed at families, but everyone was invited to enjoy the scariest concert of the year. But if you didn't make it out this year, the School of Music has performances scheduled each week from now through the end of the semester. For a full list of upcoming concerts and recitals, visit music.ttu.edu and click on News and Events.
Halloween night will soon be over, and many local holiday-themed attractions will be coming to a close. But there's still one option remaining to help you get into the fall spirit. The maze at Alto Dew Farms is located just outside the city limits, near shallow water. The maze has been open since the end of September, giving students and local residents the chance to enjoy some seasonal fun with several popular attractions. Options included hay rides, a pumpkin patch, a barnyard with animals, the cow train, and the main attraction, a corn maze. There's also a snack bar on site featuring favorites such as kettle corn and hot chocolate. Alto Dew Farms is celebrating its 23rd season in operation of offering a unique seasonal escape just a few miles from the Lubbock city limits. This year's edition of the maze continues throughout this weekend, with the final day of operation scheduled for Saturday. Also on Saturday, students from the College of Media and Communications Advertising Department will be hosting a special event called Family Fright at the Farm. In addition to the normal activities, students in the advertising campaign class will also offer costume contests, a mummy wrap race, pumpkin carving, and s'mores, all included with a regular price admission. Saturday's event is scheduled to start at 2 p.m. and will end as the maze closes for the year at 9 p.m. For more information on the final week of the maze, visit altodofarms.com.
Over the weekend, the South Plains experienced a strong cold front that dropped high temperatures by 30 degrees between Friday and Sunday.
The colder temperatures are still affecting the area today, but how long will chilly change continue? MCTV weather specialist Elisabeth Herring joins us with a look of the week ahead in the MCTV forecast. Elisabeth?
Yes, so taking a look out at our MCTV tower cam, you can see it is a bright, beautiful, clear day. Definitely different than what we saw this past weekend with lots of clouds and misty air. However, looks can be deceiving. It is quite chilly outside. And this past weekend, we actually saw our first freeze. Yesterday, we hit 31 degrees, our first freeze of the season, and it is still October. We will continue to see chilly temperatures later today, highs in the 40s across the area, Turkey 47, Spur 46, Snyder 44. Looking into Tuesday morning, we are going to hit freezing again with lows in the 20s in the South Plains. Friona 24, Turkey 28, Jayden 28, and that's right around 8 a.m., right around the work commute time and students going to class. We will see a warm up throughout the day, highs in the 50s, and we will dip below freezing one more time Wednesday morning, but after that we will not see any more freezing weather. We did see some rain this weekend, not much however. Lubbock, most places did not even see half an inch of rain. We saw the most rain in places such as Spur and Snyder with about 1 to 2 inches of rain. Again, that rain did not make much of a dent on the area. We still are ahead for the month by about 2 inches. We are, however, still behind for the year by about a half inch of rain. We do not see any future rain in the forecast for this week. Looking at tomorrow, we will see a little bit warmer temperatures, highs in the 50s across the area, Turkey 54, Spur 55, Snyder 56, and that warm weather will continue throughout the rest of the week. Tonight, low of 25, hitting freezing again, a calm northwest wind of 6 miles per hour, no rain in the forecast. Tomorrow, high of 56 with a bright sunny sky and a calm wind. Halloween night, right around sunset, we are going to be getting in the upper 40s. We will see a full moon for the spooky night with some clear, beautiful weather, no rain forecasted, and just a calm wind on trick-or-treating night. The rest of the week, we will continue to see the warm weather as it progresses into the later weekend. Thursday, high of 66. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, as well as Monday, we see highs in the 70s. We will still see chilly temperatures at the nighttime, but again, we won't see freezing temperatures after Wednesday morning. Thursday, Texas Tech is hosting a football game against TCU, and Thursday we have a high of 66. It should make for some great weather for the football game. It will be getting colder as the night continues, but again, nothing like we saw this past weekend. I'm Elizabeth, and it's back to y'all.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Texas Tech football had Saturday off, but several other teams were in action over the weekend for Tech athletics, and another is currently hoping to continue their success into the postseason.
MCTV's Nathan Boles joins us now with a look at all the latest scores and highlights in sports. Nathan?
Thanks, Epiphany and Gianelli. No Thursday newscast for us because of football, but we'll get to that in a bit. First, let's talk about number 5, Texas Tech soccer, as their first game in the Big 12 Championship started today. As we are in the studio, the game is still in progress. At the half, Texas Tech is up 1-0. Cincinnati actually outshot them 6-4 and 2 shots on goal to 1, but that one for Texas Tech was a Hannah Anderson header off a free kick. Feels kind of familiar, honestly. They're actually at Mike A. Myers Stadium in Austin where UT plays. The quarterfinals were moved from the normal venue in Round Rock due to possible inclement weather. Tech played Cincinnati in the regular season October 1st. Tech won 3-0 in a game they controlled from start to finish. And of course, the last time they played in Mike A. Myers Stadium, well, this happened.
Out of Keller, Hogate in position. Blackburn in front. That one headed into the net. Oh my goodness, Tech has won it.
The winner of Tech and Cincinnati will play Texas in the Big 12 semifinals Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Should be a fun rematch, assuming Tech gets the win today. As of now, that game will be in Round Rock, back at the normal venue. Every game in the championship is on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Now, since we won't be back for a bit, it's a good time to look at the Big 12 bracket and maybe how it can affect the NCAA tournament for Tech going forward. As we look at the Big 12 bracket here, imagine Texas being here. They beat West Virginia 3-1 earlier today. Let's say Tech holds on and gets a win over Cincinnati. They would be here. Then you've got BYU here, TCU here. BYU is really the big one, especially because as we look in the midseason rankings that were on October 18th, you've got Texas Tech at 5 and BYU at number 6. These two teams tied 2-2 earlier in the season in Provo, so a rematch in the final would be awfully interesting, or even if Tech just does a lot better than BYU in the Big 12 tournament, or vice versa. Since October 18th, you've had some changes above in this top 4. You've had Penn State did drop a game. They've looked better since then, but did drop one. Florida State has pretty much been solid. North Carolina had a couple ties and a loss in the first round of the ACC tournament. I don't expect them to be in this spot, to say the least. Stanford, still pretty good, but UCLA tied with them and won the Pac-12. So these two teams kind of in an interesting spot. Tech and BYU we talk about are there, and North Carolina maybe falls down. Why is this all important? As we go to RPI, BYU is number 2, Texas Tech is number 6. Now, we don't understand what the D1 Soccer Committee really does. I mean, that's just to be frank, but they do like RPI a lot. And you still have Penn State at number 1. You have BYU here, Texas Tech. Florida State, let's say UCLA, Florida State are like 1 and 2. Maybe Texas Tech, if they win, can be in the number 3 or number 4 spot. And at the very least, maybe stay in the top 8. Go back to the midseason rankings. A big reason that's important. 5 through 8 will be a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. That means they'll host the first round, and then if they win, host the second and third round. Big thing, if they get a 1 seed, 1 through 4, which is very possible for Tech, they would host all the way through the quarterfinals if they get that far. If they fall below 8, they'll still host a first round, but probably not anything past that. So the Big 12 tournament could be really important to determine how the NCAA tournament looks for Texas Tech and how many games we get to watch at the John Walker Soccer Complex, especially for a Tech team that went 10-0-0 at the Walker this season, a fantastic achievement on their way to a Big 12 regular season title. Now, it's okay for us to talk about all this, but as Tom Stone, Hannah Anderson, and this whole team understands, it's just about looking to the next game, at least for right now, but that's fun to look at. So let's go to Texas Tech football now. Both the Red Raiders and TCU Horned Frogs are coming off of bye week before their game Thursday night. Neither team is exactly where they thought they'd be right now. Texas Tech is reeling from a 27-14 loss against BYU, and TCU lost to Kansas State 41-3. Defensive coordinator Tim DeRuiter and wide receiver Miles Price said the bye week was good for the Red Raiders.
Well, there's a couple things that happen in a bye week. One, your players, we've been going every single day, it seems, from first week of August, and just their bodies, the wear and tear of football on them, they needed some time away from us. From a mental decompression standpoint, I think they needed some time away from us. And I think it showed yesterday at practice, had a really good practice yesterday. They came out with great juice. I've been some schools in the past where, you're having a disappointing season relative to the expectations coming in, and you get to week 9 and, maybe they're trying to just bear through practice. But our guys came out and practiced hard yesterday in anticipating playing better than we've played to any point this season.
With the bye week, I'm going to say that was a much-needed bye week. Got to get some players back, got to get my legs back up under me, so that's definitely a big thing. And the vibes around practice has just been like, everybody control what you can control, do your job. That's the biggest thing. Like, I feel like if we all do our job, we'll come out victorious this Thursday.
Texas Tech will be playing a Thursday night game for the first time since 2018 when, coincidentally, they played TCU. It was in Fort Worth that year, but this year it'll be at the Jones at 6 p.m. The Red Raiders need to win 3 of their next 4 games to make a bowl game, and 2 of those games are road games against top 25 teams in Kansas and Texas. It makes Thursday's game against TCU that much more important. Texas Tech men's and women's basketball had some exhibitions last week to get ready for this season. The Lady Raiders hosted Northern Arizona at the United Supermarkets Arena on Saturday to benefit the victims of Maui wildfires. Krista Gerlich had said the game was going to be a scrimmage before they decided to change it to an exhibition, especially considering they're going to Hawaii later in the year. Kyla Freelon really stepped up with 17 points, 14 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and a block. But the Lady Raiders couldn't overcome going down 18-8 in the first quarter and lost 63-58. The men were in Denton Sunday for the Compete for Cause Classic. Tech played Texas A&M after North Texas took down Sam Houston State. In head coach Grant McCaslin's trip back to the place he coached the last 5 years, Pop Isaac scored 30 points as the Red Raiders took down the number 15 Aggies 89-84. But the actual season kicks off next week for both teams. The Lady Raiders will play UT Rio Grande Valley at the USA next Tuesday, November 7th at 6 p.m., while the Red Raiders will start their season against Texas A&M Commerce November 8th at 7 p.m. And Texas Tech volleyball is on a 10-game losing streak, but they got a break before Saturday's game against number 20 Baylor. The Red Raiders got swept by Cincinnati Wednesday, despite Maddie Correa's 18 digs. Tech had a set point in the first set and had a slight lead for a lot of it behind 6 kills from Caitlin Dugan. But Cincinnati found a way to pull it out, and the Bearcats ran through it after that, including a 25-10 third set. And it doesn't get easier with a top 25 team coming to Lubbock. The Red Raiders will try once again to bounce back at the United Supermarkets Arena. First touch against Baylor is Saturday at 1 p.m. That's all for sports. Back to you, Gianelli and Epiphany.
Thanks, Nathan. As Nathan just mentioned, today is the only MCTV weekday update this week's due to Thursday night football taking over the Texas Tech campus. By our next newscast, the Halloween season will have ended and will be kicking off the first week of November.
But as the spooky season ends, another well-known holiday from south of the border featuring supernatural connections will be celebrated here on campus and beyond. This Wednesday and Thursday marks the official observance of Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. The holiday is widely celebrated in Mexico, but it has also continued to grow in popularity here in the U.S. Here on campus, the TTU library currently has an ofrenda set up in a Crosland room. The display features pictures along with other mementos to honor and celebrate loved ones who have died. The community exhibit was set up last week, and anyone can place items on the altar. The ofrenda is part of the university's annual observance of the Day of the Dead, which also features exhibits in the School of Arts, a folio gallery, and a celebration in the International Cultural Center on Friday. The TTU Library ofrenda will be on display through Friday.
So Epiphany, do you have any plans for Halloween or Dia de los Muertos?
Just class tomorrow and working on this extremely huge project. What about yourself?
Probably hang out with some friends. Not sure yet.
Oh,
but,
sounds
yeah.
great. Better than my plans.
That's all for today's newscast of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check out ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you here next week.